This was the face I had pretty much throughout the episode. Man, what a snooze fest. Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today I am covering Real Housewives of Dallas, Season 5, Episode 5, Sour Grapes. You guys, I'm going to try to make this fun. We're going to talk about it. I still like the season, but man, I'm bored after this episode. And I'm so over Kary, so we're going to talk about it. I really want to hear your thoughts. Did you think it was a stinker too? Let's get into it. Hey guys, I just want to take a second and say if you're enjoying this show, please check out my Patreon. Go to patreon.com, search Real Housewives Recaps, or check the comments below and I'll put a link. And for $1 a week, you can support my show and get 4 bonus episodes per month. I'm covering Scary Island, like the greatest season of Real Housewives of New York. So check it out. Thanks so much. Okay, so I don't want to be negative through this thing. I will say I am enjoying Dallas. I don't know why, but I've always enjoyed Dallas. I know a lot of people probably disagree, but there's just something light and funny about it usually. This season's going okay. I am glad that they have new faces on there with Tiffany, and I always forget the redhead's name. Is it Jen? If it's Jen, I'm going to be embarrassed because that's my name, and I should remember that, but I don't remember. So I'm glad to have some new faces, but I was really bummed this episode. I watched this to have fun, and I didn't have fun this episode. I love me some Cam. I always count on her for some comic relief. I always have a soft spot in my heart for Stephanie because I think she's probably a genuinely good person. I don't know. This D versus Kary thing, I like Hendra, but only a hair more than Kary. And I don't like Kary. Does that make sense? So Kary and D they're very much alike and they don't realize it. They both say these things, but they don't listen to the other person. And so they never feel heard. It is interesting. I thought it was a clear case of Kary being in the wrong with all this, but when you listen, the producers interviewed all the women and they all kind of said the same thing, that Dee doesn't ask any questions about anybody. She just talks about herself and all the dramatic things going on in her life. It was also interesting to hear the women say that Hendra doesn't understand what it's like to have kids. And I don't think that wasn't a dig toward her choice not to have kids. It's not that. I think she kind of said something like, once they're out of the house, that's it. And Stephanie was even saying to Kameron, no, that's not it, you know. Yeah, you of all people should know because your mother supports you. So I thought that was pretty good. Going back to what's happening on the photo, there's a lot of moments like this where it's like, oh, let's play the panty game. And, you know, usually I'm here for silly moments like that, but to me it felt like they really didn't have much this episode, so they drug it out. There's a little bit of fighting, but then all these scenes of, like, you know, undies and dancing on bars and stuff, and I'm usually here for it, but I don't know. There's things that bugged me about this episode. I'm struggling with Brandi this season. I used to find her funny. I'm seeing her as more obnoxious this season. When she put that man's mask down her pants to have gray pubes and was dancing around on the road, I'm not trying to sound like a stick in the mud. I love to laugh at this crap. I really do. But I just thought, this is just not even funny. It's like time filler or something. So this whole episode was a time suck. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be negative. Let me know in the comments if you agree or if you disagree. I'm very curious to hear. Am I wrong? Did I not watch it the right way? Did you guys see something I didn't see? I did find the ending interesting. I'm gonna be honest because that's what I do. I'm trying with Tiffany. I really am. I want to like her. There's things about her I do like. I like that they're mixing it up. I like that they're adding diversity to the cast. I like that she is very wealthy. I love seeing the real estate porn and the closet and all that. That's so up my alley. I find her a little more interesting after this episode, especially at the end when she breaks it down with her husband. You know, how she was raised and the tough things she went through and all that. Okay, I'll give her that. but I still find her a little bit grating. I do. I'm trying to like her, but I have such PTSD from Wendy from Potomac that won't stop talking about her hard work and her degrees and everything it took her to get there. And I appreciate that. Obviously, it does take a ton of work to get degrees and to be a political commentator, or in this case, to get the degrees and be a doctor and to graduate early and all that. I get it. I mean, I don't get it actually. Like, I can't even fathom what that would be like, but that's not what I watch Real Housewives for. It's just not. I watch it for the escapism and the fun and the silly and the fights and the wealthy and the cluelessness of it all, and it brings me down, especially with this corona stuff. It just brings me down. It really does. So I'm being honest. I'm not trying to be an ass here. I'm not. I mean, it's, I don't know. I'm not trying to be a hater, but I'm just telling you why I think I struggled so hard this episode. Just a lot going on. Now, I'll tell you something else I didn't like. Kary this season is really, really, really annoying. We got to hear from the ladies what they think is happening. She talks about where this was her storyline before. If something happens between her and Eduardo, she has no security at all. She has nothing. She's scared. It's hard for me to wrap my head around this. She's, showing up in a white Range Rover. She has a beautiful house. She has beautiful clothing. They take vacations. It's hard for me to understand where she's coming from, especially with what's going on right now with COVID, where we're all in the real world. We're all struggling. It's not easy. It's been horrible and hard. And, I'm talking about just the financial side, not even getting into the loss of it all. But so it's hard for me to hear this, it's hard for me to feel sorry for her is where I'm going with that. Again, I'm not trying to sound cold, but it's my truth. So her storyline sucks. And then I really, really lost respect for her when she blurted out at the meal about her daughter and the issues she's having in the suicide attempt, potentially, or the thinking about suicide, I should say. But again, I'm not trying to be insensitive here. I believe that happened. Clearly, we saw the daughter talk about it. There's, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. That's awful. That's a parent's worst nightmare, But the way she brought it up, I have issue with that. I didn't like how she used it at dinner I felt like it was more of a move to get attention for herself, and that turns me off horribly. She was pissed at Deandra. She was pissed with Tiffany, and she threw it out there, and she knew it was wrong when she did it because she kind of danced around it later, like, oh, I shouldn't have said that, or she brings it up with the other daughter, and the other daughter's clearly uncomfortable, and it just gave me a yucky feeling. I mean, I'm going to put it in basic terms. It gave me a yucky feeling, and I don't watch these shows to get yucky feelings, and I got one from that. Instead, this could have been a platform to help people who are struggling, and I think it's great to talk about it, and, especially let the group know what's going on. People like Stephanie who have been there, and it sounds like possibly Brandi's been there, might be able to help her. I get that. Talk to the group. I'd say share it with America as far as to help people who are struggling, but I just didn't like the way she did it. I had a yucky feeling. Again, tell me if you think I'm on the right track. If I'm totally off base, that's fine too. Just let me know. There is something about Deandra. Every time I start to like her, I take a step backwards with her. And tonight I took a step backwards with her because I saw what everybody was saying, where she talks, but she doesn't listen. When she was trying to talk to, was it Brandi? And Brandi was telling her just to listen. She couldn't do it. She only lives in her own world and doesn't understand why everybody else doesn't as well. Meanwhile, we're all over here struggling, with our lives. So, again, I don't mean to be Debbie Downer. I'm not trying to be this negative. I'm really not. I sound like these wives. But I'm just telling you what I had trouble with, and that was one of the things I had trouble with. And then here we are in the store. They're all drunk, having fun, and that's cool. I like to see that too, but it was just, again, they spent 10 minutes spanking each other with a charcuterie board, and normally I'm here for it. I guess I just wasn't in the mood today or something, because it was hard to watch this. It just didn't really go anywhere, and nothing was really resolved. And Brandi's telling Deandra, you need to listen. You need to ask her how she's doing. And Deandra's not listening and saying, we talk all the time. I never hear any of it. And Brandi explains that both of them, both Kary and Deandra, are all about themselves. And I actually think she has a point there, which is funny because usually I think Brandi's all about herself. So it's interesting to hear. So they end up going out to dinner, and this was interesting. The redheaded girl, again, is her name Jen? I should know this. Redheaded girl asks if they mind if she drinks her O'Doul's out of a wine glass. And she makes a joke about going to jail, and Tiffany kind of says, well, what's that about? And she says she was on the brink of something bad happening, and so she made the decision she's got to quit drinking. So good for her. That's awesome. She orders an O'Doul's. I judge that. Not that she's not drinking, just O'Doul's in general. I've never tried it, but I can't imagine that tastes good. But no, but seriously, good for her for realizing she had a problem and stopping. Tiffany even says that's excellent that she was able to stop. Deandra explains she was a cocaine addict in her 20s, and her dad committed suicide. He was an alcoholic. So I'm going to call Deandra out for the same thing I called Kary out on. I don't think this was the time to bring this up. She's not listening. She's making it about herself, the same thing that Kary did earlier. And she brought up this stuff, and it just wasn't, I just didn't think it was the right time. So still Deandra and Kary are fighting, and Kary's saying, she's trying to say, good for you for reaching out to your brother. And Deandra says it hurts her feelings that Kary thinks that Deandra's not a good friend. Deandra says, I'm never going to be the kind of friend you want me to be. And everybody's rolling their eyes. And Tiffany throws her napkin on her head. And I thought that was a pretty funny scene. I love this face that Brandi's making here. That was pretty much my reaction throughout the episode. That's just kind of how I felt about everyone. They're fighting over the table. Deandra says she cares about... Deandra is trying to say she cares about Kary because she texted Sophia, Kary's daughter, to find out what flavor birthday cake Deandra would like. So, they kind of make fun of that. They sing happy birthday to Brandi, and the dinner wraps up. So then we go over to Sophia and Kary, and again, it's hard for me to care about this too. It was such a bummer of an episode. Usually when they drop some heavy stuff on us, they do some silly stuff, and I guess they did to an extent with the spanking and the charcuterie board, but I don't know. It wasn't great. So Sophia is working with Kary. She graduated from college, but with COVID, it's been hard. So Kary has her helping her out. She's handling the social media side of the jewelry. Again, she talks about having a viable business. She's worried about her financial security, and she's trying to achieve financial independence through this jewelry line. I'm thinking, I don't know, this season's probably not going to help you out with that, Kary. You're not coming off great. I'm wondering how from everything I've read, people are not reacting great to Kary, and I'm trying to form my own opinion, but that's exactly how I feel too. I'm not digging Kary this season at all. So she's trying to talk to her daughter about resentment from the divorce. The daughter doesn't want to talk about it. Moving on. Tiffany's with her kids. She has her kids doing first grade work. She says that they're a year ahead, and she wants to push her kids to the extent of their abilities. So then we go up and talk to her husband, Daniel. And I gotta say, this is the first, we've met Daniel, but this is the most we've had airtime of Daniel, and I like Daniel. I actually found him very kind to her in the way he spoke. He listened to her, and then he would encourage her to follow what makes her happy and do what she needs to do. And, she's thinking about cutting back, although it seems like she may not be. It's hard to say. We learned a lot about her tiger mom and the issues with the parents and how she holds herself accountable and the impossible standards that they have set for her and that she sets for herself. And again, it was just a lot to take in. I didn't mind seeing it. I like to know more about Tiffany. I'm trying to give her a chance, but just the overall tone of the episode was hard, and this part was not making it any lighter. I felt for her. She's dealing with work-life balance. I get it. It's hard. She has 2 little babies. I'm sure that's a lot to struggle with. So we do see a flash to next week. It's Cam and Tiffany teasing with each other. I'm here for Cam. I want to see what goes down there. Cam is still training that dog Fancy. The dog trainer's kind of like throwing his hands up in the air at this point because it sounds like it's still just not going well. Travis is giving Stephanie a hard time. I don't love that storyline. She's trying to do something good. He's giving her a hard time. I understand it's probably produced, but I don't love it. Deandra's talking to her guru, her spiritual leader, whatever she calls him, about the Kary fight. Then we see Tiffany has everyone over for pizza. So sounds like she's rubbing people the wrong way with her food demands again. It is strange. Like, she's very bossy about food. We've learned that. So I'm sure that will ruffle Cam's feathers, and I'm here for it. I can't wait to see it. So that is it for the episode. You guys, I didn't mean to be such a bummer this episode. I just struggled with it, but I promise, it's going to get better. Let's stick with it. Let's keep going. I'm enjoying the season overall. It was just a tough episode. So anyway, leave me some comments below. Let me know your thoughts. Let's make it more fun. Tell me something fun. I don't know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hey, thank you guys so much for Patreon. I've had so many new people sign up lately, and I just so appreciate that. So if you want to support the show, $1 a week, $4 a month, you get all these bonus episodes. You get my backlog of bonus episodes, all the new stuff coming out every Thursday afternoon. I'm covering all kinds of Real Housewives of New York, from Scary Island to Cindy Barshop to Morocco, all of it. We're talking about it all, so join us over there. Thank you guys so much for everything. I hope you stay healthy and stay safe and have a fantastic week. And we'll be back for Salt Lake City, and I can't wait for it. So thank you guys for everything. Take care. Bye-bye.